Alex and Tom's Hardware. I'm at Mobile World Congress 2015 in Barcelona, and I'm checking out the new HTC M9, the latest smartphone from HTC. So at first glance, obviously it looks very similar to the predecessor, the HTC M8, which I'll pull into the scene here. So they both have 5-inch displays, they both are 1080p panels, and they both have a very similar design language. But there are some key differences that does make the M9 stand out. So one thing is the M9 is a little bit shorter in height. It's a couple millimeters shorter, and it's also a little bit narrower by about 1 millimeter. But in actual fact, it is, when you put it on the side, slightly thicker than the M8. And it's also a little bit lighter, but again, only by a couple of grams, so it's not that noticeable. Bezel-wise, as you can see, they're both very similar. And it still has the bottom bezel, which some, I guess, fanboys don't appreciate. But HTC has told me there are technical reasons why this space is there. There's some screen componentry and everything that needs to be there. So the other main thing on the design that changed from a usability perspective is the buttons. So HTC has taken, on the M8, the button was on top here, and you can see on the M9 the power button has now been relocated to the side, very much in the middle, similar to what Sony does with their phones. And we can see the volume buttons here, and then there's the micro SD card slot and the SIM card slot. Now, the M8, even though it has the same design language, or they both have the same design language, the M8's body is actually made from two pieces, a front and back. So the M9 is actually like the M7. It has a unibody design, so it's crafted from one piece of metal. But what HTC has been able to do is, in actual fact, is actually what they call a dual-tone metal. So it's hard to see under this lighting here, but the back of this M9 is the silver model, but on the side of the device, in actual fact, it's gold. So they've managed to combine the sort of the curved design language and the comfortable body of the M8 with the unibody construction of the M7 on the M9 that does bring the best of both worlds. And certainly, even though it does look a little bit very similar to the M8, I think the M8 was a gorgeous phone, and the M9 is just taking it to the next level. So we have inside, we have a Snapdragon 810, which is an octa-core processor, which runs at 2 gigahertz. There's 32 gigabytes of onboard storage, 3 gigs of RAM, and of course there's a micro SD slot. The battery is a 2840 milliamp, so it has a pretty good battery size, a similar battery size to what the M8 had. So another big feature you see that I've flipped the phone around a number of times is the back here. We have an actual a new camera. So a lot of people love the M8, but the one thing they didn't love is the ultra pixel camera on the back. While it was great in low light and HTC's camera software was amazing, it wasn't particularly high resolution and did not capture the greatest pictures in good lighting conditions. So on the M9, HTC has put a 20 megapixel camera on the back. They have not disclosed who makes the sensor, and if we find out the information, I'm sure we can share it with you. And this 20 megapixel camera is combined with HTC's great camera software. I've always been a big fan of their camera UI. One thing I always like is that HTC is one of the few phones that comes with full manual control right out of the box. So you can adjust the ISO, you can adjust the shutter speed, you can adjust the white balance, so you can really control how you take your pictures with the M9 software, and that's something you don't have to get third-party software for. And what they've done with the ultra-pixel camera is they've moved the ultra-pixel camera around to the front of the phone. So now we have that ultra-pixel camera that has excellent low-light photography. It has a 2-micron sensor. It has an f2.0 aperture, and it's actually a super wide-angle lens. It's 26.8 millimeter. So for doing selfies and group selfies, if you're into that kind of thing, the front-facing camera is going to be great for that. And the rear camera is 27.8 millimeters wide lens, so it's still pretty wide, lets you capture a lot of what you're looking at. It's a f2.2 aperture, which is going to give you decent low light performance, and it is capable of shooting 4K video. So before I quickly talk about the software, another thing I want to mention is the boom sound speakers. Another characteristic of HTC's phones, the stereo speakers on the front of the device. This year HTC has upgraded boom sound to incorporate Dolby 5.1 surround sound audio. So quickly moving into the software, it's running Android Lollipop, and it's running HTC Sense 7, the latest version of HTC's Sense UI. If you've seen Sense UI running on the M8, because a lot of M8s, Lollipop running on the M8, because a lot of M8s have been upgraded to Lollipop running Sense 6, you'll see there's quite a few similarities as far as the Lollipop settings tray and the Lollipop notification system and the Lollipop notifications on the lock screen. But what HTC has done is added a few extra things, such as their Blink Feed application now has restaurant recommendations. So one feature of Sense 7 is this what they call Sense Home widget on the front of the screen, and what it allows you to do is actually it keeps a selection of applications based on where you are. So here you have it set to work mode, and it shows applications that you use when you're at work, and if you go to home mode, then it shows a different selection of applications, and you can actually add the location of where your home is and set that. So let's say I go done here, save my home address, and now it pulls up the home applications, and then if you're out, it pulls up a different selection of applications. As you can see, they changed right there. So that basically allows it automatically changes the applications available to you depending on your location. So one of the other main features of HTC Sense 7 is this new themes application. So a lot of phone companies, especially Chinese ones, have customized theme applications on their phones that allow you to install and download different themes. So as you can see here, when you scroll through the list, there's a bunch of popular themes that you can install, and there's HTC created ones. So I'm scrolling across here, and the themes have different wallpapers, color schemes, icons, and things like that. So if I go apply this theme here, so the new theme has been applied. As you can see, the wallpaper has changed, the icons have changed, the font has changed, everything else has changed. So I mean, that's a simple sort of way you can change the themes. A lot of the other phone vendors already have that. But one cool feature that HTC has added is this customized theme feature that you can do. So you don't actually have to use one of the downloaded themes. You can use your own picture or wallpaper that you either take yourself or download from the internet, and then what it does is it analyzes that picture and analyzes the colors and everything, and then it customizes the theme of the phone to match the colors of your customized image. It even allows you to select which icons you want to use. So we use the same wallpaper as the HTC's own theme instead of our own image. But as you can see here, when you scroll through the different settings, you can see the different icon options that you have available to you that can match your own new customized theme. And then you go next, you save the theme and apply it. So that's a very cool feature that allows you to really personalize your phone. So that's been a quick look at the HTC One M9, the latest phone from HTC. This is Alex and Tom's Hardware. I'm here at Mobile World Congress 2015. Thanks for watching.